where I'm at today is I'm thinking of somebody having to rewrite the story of the period we're in. I mean, the period that started roughly in 2002, so for the past 10 years. Okay? And I hope when they write or rewrite that story, they will not forget the idea of time. What I see more and more is the notion of having to react in a nanosecond. I mean, in the days, I mean, when I start my career, we would go through focus group, we will find ideas about creating a piece of communication, and eventually we would do an animatic, we will test it, and 3 months later the client will approve, and then we will retest it again, and eventually we'll produce it, you know, preferably in California, because it's sunny and the dogs are professional, whatever. And then after a year, you will read the result from Nielsen, and God, I mean, that doesn't work, and you have to put an additional promotional tag on top of it. The whole process would last 12 months. Today you don't have 12 months. Because the shelf life of a digital asset in a good day is about 30 seconds or less. So the quandary for us is to produce many, many pieces of communication as relevant as we can be, as fast as we can be, and as cheaply as we can be. So we have a double problem here is quantity and quality or relevancy, if you want to. So you have to find creative who are going to produce not only one, but tens and tens, 100 pieces of communication, because if you want to be true to the promise of infinite customization, you have to produce those pieces of communication. And you have to produce them probably in areas where the cost of labor is lower. So you're talking about offshoring your creative product more and more. And those pieces of communication have to come in a repetitive fashion. People are looking at their cell phone for about 10 seconds. They're looking at a tablet for about 15 seconds while they're waiting for the elevator. And then the asset is gone. So you have to produce many, many assets. So you have a production problem and you have a quality problem. Are we going to be able to find creative to produce those hundreds of pieces of communication in real time and distribute them from those offshore centers into the various devices that we're carrying around us? So the notion of time, immediacy, all that attached to having to produce things that are immensely relevant in real time. This is the debate that we have today. This is the issue that we have today. And I'm going to complete with one example. I was visiting with my daughter in London the Victoria and Albert Museum, and I went to the museum with a cell phone, with a Nokia phone, and I was looking at the exhibit, and my daughter was surprised, blah blah. And then we came out, and immediately we had a message coming on my cell phone saying, "It's 4 p.m. How about tea?" So they knew that I was coming out of the Victoria and Albert Museum. They knew that I was next to a fancy hotel, and I knew that it was 4 p.m. and I was with my daughter, so tea would be appropriate. So more and more you're going to have app taking through the day, reading what you're doing, and being able to provide valuable information that you can use, and of course advertising coming on top of it. But the notion of time and mobility and being able to connect with the customer at a valuable and a critical moment, what we call the typical when, is becoming more and more important.